Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner football fans podcast. You got Terry and Rob here. Boomer up.
Boomer Jerry.
And we have Scotty from Southern California here. Boomer Scotty.
Boomer Terry.
And we are coming at you not from the Podcast Palace in beautiful Norman, Oklahoma,
where we are still not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma.
But we do have eligibility left. We are coming at you from our beach bungalow, mine and the lovely Teresa's beach bungalow here in Newport Beach, California. We were just discussing the cost of living out here, which is rather ridiculous. But want to give a shout out to Dan from Tailgate to Connect. We will no longer be publicizing the tailgate for the UCLA game because it is over.
In the books. We had a good time, though.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah. You know, I lost my voice the first time I did a boomer over there. Like, it's just been in and out scratchy ever since the first boomer. So
the very first one, and it was done. Yeah, Dan called me this morning, and he said, "Man, you sound like you had a rough night." And I was like, "No, I'm just hoarse from yelling yesterday and talking so much." So, but also check out our videos on Thursday night from Louis, and we are also going to be announcing in the next week or so of a new partner / sponsor of Sooner Football Fans podcast that will have a guest on next week, so stay tuned for that. But Sooners put a first-class butt whooping again on another opponent, UCLA 48-14. Rob, your thoughts?
You know, I mean, yes, we did put a pretty good whipping on them, but it just seemed like from the stands that it was sloppy. I mean, I wasn't all that impressed with Jalen. I mean, I know he's a good quarterback. I know he's got a good strong arm. I just wasn't, you know, and I've got to rewatch it. So as soon as I get home, I'm going to pull up the YouTubes and watch it again. But from the stands, it just looked like he had wide open receivers and that he was trying to force some things into double coverage. And it also looked like he took off a little earlier than I wanted. You know, I want him to sit in that pocket, and I want him to pick defenses apart. That's what I want him to do. I'm not the coach, and I'm not Jalen, so obviously he's not going to do always what I want him to do. But that's just from what I've seen from the stands. Now, once I get to the TV and I'm actually able to watch it, maybe a different story altogether.
Yeah, I mean, that's watching it in person is always different than watching it on TV because I don't know if it's your point of view. You don't get to see all the replays or everything, and especially at the Rose Bowl because they have a tiny screen, so you really can't see much up there. But you never really I don't think you get as much from watching it on live as you do on TV.
Absolutely not.
What'd you think, Scotty?
Yeah, I agree with Rob. I think there were some plays that really annoyed me, some sloppy play, especially with the line. But I really wasn't sure whether it's just Jalen still trying to get used to the play calling at Oklahoma, or maybe that line wasn't holding as long as he really wanted it to hold. He moved around a lot. I just felt he pulled it down after that first look wasn't there, and he tried to take off maybe a bit too soon. Again, he was effective, 150 yards on the ground. But I want my quarterback, as a fan, I'd rather see you go side to side and make time for those receivers to get open rather than risk yourself getting hurt down the field.
Well, here's one of my things. Is it because, I was thinking about this because Rob and I sat next to each other during the game, and we were talking about this thing, and I thought about it last night. Me and David were talking about it. Do you think it's because we've had maybe the two most dynamic quarterbacks in the history of the NFL that we just expect everybody to look like Baker and Kyler?
You know, that is a good possibility, but I'll tell you this. Sermon had 7 carries. Kennedy Brooks had 7 carries. Jalen Hurts had 14 carries.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of that. I don't particularly want my quarterback running the football unless he has
That's
to.
a good point.
I mean, if he can, great. Like Kyler did, perfect. Kyler really didn't tuck the ball and run until Kyler had to tuck the ball and run.
Right.
I mean, we got some stallions in the backfield. That's who I want to run the football.
Right.
I don't want my quarterback running out there with a headhunter trying to kill him.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I think part of that is, what I want to know is how many of those runs that Jalen has were designed runs. You know what I mean? Because I don't think many of them. He was flushed out of the pocket a couple of times. I know there was a few quarterback draws that he ran, but other than that
makes it to me even even more disturbing that your 2 running backs only had 7
Yeah,
carries
7
each.
carries. And those 2 running backs are averaging. Kennedy Brooks is still averaging 9 yards a carry.
And at the pace we were going is not the traditional pace we were going.
No.
If you're going to slow it down that much, just let your running backs do
Right.
that work. I mean, if you're going to slow it down to the traditional, 8 plays, 100 yards, and taking 6 or 7 minutes off the clock,
Yeah,
give it to your running backs and let them do that.
Right.
Run the ball.
right. Trey Sermon, like Rob said, had 9 carries, as average yesterday 7.3 yards.
Yeah, but didn't he hit like 9 different receivers too?
Yep.
I mean, I can sit here and say all that, I don't want him running the ball, but he hit 9 different receivers.
And Rambo was the target this week. Last week we talked about CD, but Rambo caught had 5 receptions for 116 yards. Longest was 48. Lee Morris didn't catch a touchdown. Rob, Lee Morris didn't catch a touchdown. He had 2 passes. He's supposed to catch a touchdown.
Listen, all Lee Morris does is catch touchdowns.
He
Terry.
didn't.
I don't want to hear that again. Okay?
Grant Galcatera had 2 for 40 yards. CD caught 1. Drake Stoops caught 1. So let's say 2, 4, 6, 9 receivers caught passes. So
Yeah. And I'm not worried about CeeDee Lamb. I'm not, because
No.
he's getting a lot of attention. If you watched the game yesterday,
Oh, yeah.
it was all CeeDee Lamb. Whatever they could do to keep CeeDee Lamb from getting the ball. But then you pick your poison.
yeah,
And
then guess what happens?
CD's
Rambo steps up.
CeeDee's going to get his. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're going to start giving Rambo the respect he deserves. And then look out, because CeeDee's going to be all up and down the field.
So at what point do you think that they went into a vanilla package, if at all?
Oh man, good
I was
question.
like,
Rob.
come on, run something.
They scored 17 points in the first quarter, 17 points in the second quarter.
I mean, how can you complain? I
Yeah.
know. I'm a spoiled Sooner fan. Okay? I'm not trying to complain. I'm really not.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it looked like we went into a vanilla package where, maybe the offensive line did not give him as much time as he's used to, because it seemed like he was kind of squirting out for quicker.
Well, maybe they did go into a vanilla after. Maybe, because now that I think about it, you asked that because that's when you and I started complaining in the stands, was in the second half. Okay, we'd already put up 17 and 17, in the first 2, and we've scored 7 and 7. So they didn't really need to do anything else.
No, they didn't need to. But
Yeah. We'd like for them to. But, I mean, like I said, we're spoiled. We're sitting here, we're trying to pick apart, again, the number 1 offense in the country and going, well, Jalen Hurts just didn't look right. He did this and he did that. But it's like, okay, what else can we expect? You know what I mean? It's weird because I feel the same way you do. And I think I've seen social media too, some of the stuff on Twitter and Facebook where people are kind of saying the same things. It didn't look like, but like what you said, Scott, I think a lot of it's the offensive line. I mean, they're still not. I mean, Beanbo was ticked off last week after the who did we play? South Dakota. And okay, if your offensive line coach is ticked off after South Dakota, geesh.
We got 2 weeks, so
even
got
though
it.
he put up 70 points, yeah, he's
Right.
still pissed.
Yeah.
you got the bye, and then we go in to play Tech. And I don't know how much Tech's going to give us different than UCLA, to be honest, as far as competition at the line. But it's conference play.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna fix it, it's gonna have to be now.
Yeah, they got
whatever
two-
it is.
they got
and
2
they're
weeks.
going to be okay. It's just I think it's time figuring everything out and getting to play together. But I think those guys are too big not to be good.
Right.
And you're playing at Oklahoma, so
Yeah.
you didn't come to Oklahoma if you couldn't play.
Here's another thing. We had 309 yards rushing, so Jalen had half of that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, literally, we probably could have did what we wanted to. So why didn't we want to do what Robert wanted to do? I mean, come on. That's what I want to have. I want what Big Rob wants. That's what I want. All right. So somebody call Lincoln.
and here again, we had 41. We had 41 rushes, and we had 23 pass attempts. So we ran. That's what
41 to 23.
Yeah. I mean, we had 302 yards net passing, 309 yards rushing, 41 rushing attempts. We were 16 to 23 passing. So, average completion was 18.9 yards.
And I think
that's ridiculous.
You're sitting here complaining, Terry. I cannot believe you.
And I think Jalen is still at more touchdown passes than incompletions right
Yeah,
now. Right?
he's thrown more touchdown passes than he has in.
So let's run him down.
Yeah, let's talk about Jalen Hurts. For crying out loud, this Alabama guy comes in here, thinks he can outdo, Kyler and Baker. How dare him?
So the opinion that I gave about that a while ago was what I kind of formed during the game, that it looked sloppy and it didn't look good, and that Jalen missed wide open receivers and stuff. But there are national media today that we've seen in college football final that were giving him praise, like, this guy is legit, you know, and I'm like, I really didn't see that, but then again, I'm not a professional either, so.
Well, yeah, and they're, giving props to Oklahoma. I mean, we were talking before the podcast that Reggie Bush on Fox yesterday just heralded Oklahoma. He's tired of hearing about the SEC. He's like, what about Oklahoma and the Big 12? And he brought up the guys from the South, Texas, too. But he's like, they're as good as anybody out there, offensively, yes. You know my opinion on that. But, he's tired of hearing the SEC is the best conference top to bottom, because it's not.
Well, they got 3 teams in the top 5.
Yeah. So, go figure that one. There's not a bias.
Until they get beat, they're gonna.
Yeah.
That's just the way it's going to be.
But the defense, let's talk about the defense a little bit. Got 2 turnovers, so we were 1 short. So I think the defense had to walk back to the Norman like yesterday.
Anybody get candy bars?
Yeah. But here's the thing. That's another. Think about this. Oklahoma in the last 2 games has almost half half the turnovers that we got last year. We had 11 turnovers last year, and we've already got 5 this year in 3 games.
That's huge, but that's your defense.
Yeah.
That's the defense finally having some energy. I mean, being around the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, last year, if you're playing 10 yards off the ball, you're not going to be anywhere near it when the receiver catches it. But I saw 24 different people played on defense yesterday.
Yeah.
So,
and I think he's still trying to find the fits in some of that defense.
And that's me and Rob talked about earlier. I think with 24 people, you still mixing people in.
Yeah.
Trying to find the right fit who's going to get the majority of the time.
And I know everybody, has been heralding, Buki and, jumping on me for not being a Buki fan. I want the guy to succeed. But there was twice he missed 2 tackles that he should have had. One for loss because he's not wrapping up. And he's not the only one. I mean, I think he's the best. He's at the best spot for him. He does better there. But I think he's the best that they have there. I think if there was another option, and I think it's probably true at a couple of other positions. But the defensive line, is looking Gallimore.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah, those guys are eating people's lunch.
Let's circle back for a moment to turnovers. How many do we have in the first game?
0.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we had 3 against North Dakota.
I was thinking we had 1 in the first game too.
No.
So.
Nope. No turnovers, because that's one of the things Grinch was upset about, that they didn't get any turnovers. And 3, he said that 3 is a lofty goal, but if you get 3, you're going to win a ball game. If you can turn the ball over 3 times, that's, maybe true nowadays. How many times did Oklahoma turn the ball over in the 80s against Kansas and still beat them 80-0?
Yeah.
So,
run the wishbone. We put the ball on the ground a bunch.
Yeah. But let's see. UCLA had 110 yards rushing and 201 yards passing. They were 15 of 26 passing. There's nothing I can say bad about the defense, really. And again, I'm not knocking Buki. I'm just making my case, because there are people that are on me about saying stuff about Buki. It's just, I hope the guy becomes a superstar and goes to the NFL. But he was one of the he was the guy 2 years ago in this recruiting class, that everybody talked about. So, I just want to see more out of him. That's just my opinion,
No, I agree. I mean, I think the defense as a whole has certainly improved. Obviously improved.
Yeah.
Don't you feel like that?
Oh, yeah.
Starting with the defensive line, I mean, I haven't really seen K9's name called a bunch this year, but I know he's playing pretty well. But it's the new guys. Their names escape me right now, but the freshmen that are getting in, they're looking pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
The defense, I'm not going to lie. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid, but I am saying the defense is looking better. But when we got to really evaluate this defense is coming up with Tech, apparently Kansas, because Kansas, did they end up losing yesterday?
They won.
Yeah, they won.
They won.
Yeah, and big.
And
yeah.
Kansas State. My gosh.
So, we're going to find more out, about these guys in the next couple of weeks. After this bye week, Tech, Kansas, and Texas. Texas is the big one.
Yep.
And so I don't know. I mean, I want to say it looks better, but to me, it still looks the same as it did last year.
Yeah.
Really good those first three games, and then.
Well, let's get serious here for a moment. I did not find that Julie Roberts chick down on Hollywood Boulevard today. All right, I was down there. There's a bunch of women down there. I may have fell in love a couple times, but Julie Roberts was not down there.
Was not down there.
Yeah,
was not. That's too bad.
I'm just saying.
You're just saying.
Rob found the epicenter of yoga pants.
Hey, listen, you think I'm weird? There's some weird folks down there.
I guarantee you there's some weird. Dude, you can walk half a block down here. There's some weird folks down here.
We saw the most out of shape Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
That we've ever seen, dude. Yeah.
Did you see the the out of shape Hulk still down there?
Oh yeah.
He got a big fat belly, but he's dressed up in the green suit. It's like, that's not right, man. The Hulk doesn't look like that. Did you get any pictures with any of them, Rob?
That'd be a negative.
No. Nope. They tried.
They tried.
Yeah, they tried.
Did anybody try to hand you their CDs and DVDs and whatnot?
So when you're as ugly as I am and you give them the scowl, they just back up. It's pretty cool, actually. So, huh? Yeah, all of them. Nobody, when they were trying to hand me stuff and I just looked at them like, I will kill you, they just stepped away. I'm not even kidding you.
Well, there you go. See that?
We went to the Chinese theater, took Rob to the Chinese theater, and all the footprints, and we were wondering, Marilyn Monroe,
Yeah.
or those are high heel prints.
Yeah.
Well, we figured out, those are high heel prints, not anything. We'll try to find Rob cherry smoothie.
Nobody had any cherry smoothies. They weren't giving away cherry smoothies down there, Rob.
I didn't see it.
So we have the lovely Teresa sitting here. Let's get and also, lack for nothing, Lori. Let's get the ladies' perspective from yesterday. Teresa, you want to start it off? Talk about what you thought about Dan's tailgate.
The tailgate. We had a lot of fun at the tailgate watching everybody. I really liked the what was it, the little ski thing that they had with that you guys were doing the drinking from. When they did that, that was a lot of fun to watch everybody do their drinking, their shot drink. She Scott shots. That was pretty cool to watch. I had a lot of fun with that. I had a lot of fun sitting and watching everybody get drunk. It's always fun to watch that. And then getting to meet some of the people that we haven't gotten to meet. We got to meet Sooner Lisa for the first time, and that was really awesome because she's kept promising to come to things, and she finally showed up to this one. So that was really cool to get to meet her. And we got to meet the gentleman from Germany. That was really awesome. A guy, it was so cool talking to him. And
he's got a funny accent, just FYI.
Well, not as funny as yours was probably to him, Rob. But it was really cool to sit and visit with him and just to kind of talk to realize he had come this far.
Yeah, if you've seen what's it called? Let It Go. What's it called? Frozen. He sounded like the guy that owned the store. When they went in there. Because I'm from Germany, and he became a Sooner fan. Do you know how he became a Sooner fan, Rob?
I do.
WWE wrestling.
Jim Ross.
He's a Sooner. I become a Sooner. And he has been to 2 Sooner games. He came to this one. I offered him a beer, and he's a German that does not drink.
Here's the funniest thing about it. He came from Germany by himself
Yeah, by
to LA to an OU football game. No big deal.
yeah. I mean, he was just there. So, Lori,
I'm gonna hold it for you.
the queen of the tailgate. How does it feel to be voted the queen of the tailgate?
Okay, I'm going to be honest because I do that.
Oh, Lord.
So I don't feel like I'm the queen because I got nominated. I got queen by default. So in my, I'm competitive, and so if I didn't win first place, then second place is not the queen. Okay, so but I'll go ahead and take that. Yes, they did give it to me. Okay,
And we all bowed down.
Yeah, you did. You did.
So,
You did.
I mean, come on.
If you're not first, you're last.
See what I'm saying?
Well, but then again,
Exactly.
you have to remember, if you saw the pictures that were on Facebook
Yes.
with Rob and Terry, because Terry was the king of the tailgate, and Rob wanted to recount because he said it was not fair.
Right.
And if you'll look at the picture,
I'm pretty sure I won
you'll
it.
see Rob would not look at him every time I tried to take pictures. Nope.
It was
He wouldn't look at the camera either. Teresa's like, look over here. And Rob's like, no. He's like the, toddler pouting.
it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So let me explain the kickstand.
Why do you need to explain the Oh, that's why,
Well,
because somebody
yeah.
videoed it and put it out on Twitter.
Exactly. And so I wasn't gonna do it.
Wait a minute. You didn't inhale, right?
I did not inhale. Did not inhale.
That's the wrong question on the
Everybody
kickstand,
kept
Rob.
saying, I mean, it went on for like 10, 15 minutes. You got to do a kickstand. No, I don't do a kickstand. Blah, blah, blah. And then my brother looks at me and he said, you go do that kickstand and your Army trip, Army game next year is all expensive paid. And I'm like, I'm going to do a kickstand.
I wish you had offered that to me.
But then I get over there to do the kickstand, and I am like freaking out, like I'm fixing to die, And I'm looking at Rob. Rob's looking at me, and I'm thinking, what am I doing, So I sat there. One guy was on one side, one was on the other. And I got to remembering there was a doctor there because he looked at Teresa. So there's a doctor there. So I said, he was checking her out. So I had one guy on one side and one guy on the other side.
No, hold on. One thing
Okay.
we need to explain about the doctor. He was walking around with a jetpack
Yes.
with one side filled with both sides were filled with different flavor alcohol. So that was the doctor that was
Right.
at the tailgate.
He also checked my face out.
Yes. So I started thinking, well, if I start to die, where's the doctor? Just in case he's there, right? So I said, where is the doctor? I need the doctor. And the guy that's standing to my right leans around and he looks at me and he goes, I'm going to be holding your leg. I'm the doctor. I was like, okay. Do you know CPR? He said, I got you. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
That was fun.
And I was standing there, when we took the group picture with Dan afterwards. I was asking him, just conversation. I was like, so you're a doctor? What kind? I work in healthcare. What are you? General practice? What do you do? And he goes, I'm the love doctor. That's all he said. So I'm not really sure if Dan's doctor was a doctor.
I got to my brother and his best friend of 40 years. They came to the tailgate, so that was pretty cool. That was the first one, and he's probably one of the absolute funniest guys ever. I mean, I ran around with them on Friday, and it was just constant laughter with them. So it was good. It was really good. So lots and lots of people, lots of Sooner fans came out. That was cool. That was real cool.
Yeah, that's another thing. The stands were. I mean, UCLA outnumbered us, but not by that much. I mean, it was about 60.
I don't know. It was close.
Yeah,
It was close.
from seeing stuff on TV, it looked. like there was more Oklahoma fans there. I don't know because of the Reds, that we just had a bad angle from where we were sitting at, but it was close. If it was, we know it wasn't at capacity, not even near capacity, but there was probably 57% of it. No, 54% was probably UCLA, I
You
think.
think it was that much?
What do you think, Scotty?
Pretty close. I think it's pretty close. I mean, they didn't even open the end zone
Yeah.
general admission on the UCLA side. Oklahoma side was full
Yeah.
all the way through the general admission, and then back around to the student section on the UCLA side
Yeah.
was all crimson. It would be really close to 50-50.
It looked like, it honestly, it kind of looked, when you looked at the stadium, it looked like OU was 3/4 and they were a quarter when you looked at it from that standpoint because of them not having the end zone open. Because when I was looking, that's what it was like, wow, because you'd look all red and then you could see the blue. You could. It just didn't seem that much, though.
Well, the team had to be happy with the turnout.
Oh, yeah.
They had to be.
Lincoln talked about
That's the
it.
closest thing to a home turnout you're going to get on the road.
Yeah, Lincoln talked about it. That he said people, and he was right. He said these are fans that came halfway across the country, and people need to realize what you were watching, and when you saw the Oklahoma fans, that wasn't Californians that are Sooner fans, all of them. There was a lot of Californians there.
Well, our plane was full of Sooners.
Yeah, our plane was full of Sooners, and we met people from Germany, Las Vegas. There was people at the tailgate from Blanchard and Purcell. They were from everywhere. Nevada. I mean, Sooners came from all over the country to watch that game.
They even came from College Station, Texas, didn't
Yes,
they?
But and that's another thing. If I know everybody out there has seen our posts. We're taking we're leaving the Rose Bowl, taking a celebratory picture in front of the Rose Bowl. We ask a stranger to take a picture, and we mess up the first one because Scotty's wife was yelling at his daughter over my shoulder. And Teresa they were trying to get everybody in the first picture messed up.
They were mommying everybody.
Yeah.
And that's significant because had we not messed up the first picture,
Yeah, the next thing we know, this fellow in a black shirt pushes his way into our group and says, "Let me get in here on this."
let me get in on this.
Yeah, and we all were like, "Oh my God!" It's
Bob Stoops.
Bob Stoops.
I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Oh, coach! I'm like, ah.
And he throws out the horns down Ferns, and everybody else, we just follow suit. Throw out the horns down, and disappears like Scotty said. He was gone as fast as he should.
That was the quickest in and out picture I've ever seen in my life.
He was a vapor. Here, I'm taking a picture, poof, and he's gone.
But the funniest thing was, too, is the lady I had asked to do the photo and that was doing it, she comes over because she's using Paula's phone. She comes over, sends her, I want to copy that. I want to copy that. It's like she's not even in the picture, but because she took the picture, she wants a copy of it. So Paula's sitting there and she's sending the text out to give it. It was hilarious.
Well, the funny thing is expressions on people's faces when they saw it. I think
Oh,
we
yeah.
all realized it at the same time. I saw him coming up. I'm like, I wonder if that guy knows how much he looks like Bob Stoops. And then he opened his mouth. I'm like, son of a bitch, that's Bob Stoops. And my wife got like, if you see the look on my wife's face in the middle, and all she could say all night was, Bob Stoops touched me. Bob Stoops touched me. He touched me.
in a polite way.
Oh, whichever. She didn't care. She didn't care. No, I didn't care. Bob, meet my wife. I'll take you guys later. And then we go home. Everybody's in bed last night. Paula's trying to clean up because we came home. We cooked some brats. Everybody had some food. And about 2:30, she goes, hey, Bob Stoops touched me. I'm like, that's fine, honey, but it's 3 o'clock. Leave me alone. He was asleep.
I'm not sure you can say that on the radio.
No, what was funny, David calls his wife, which now you need to understand, our daughter-in-law loves football, but she does not like Oklahoma Sooner football. She's actually a Longhorn fan, but they have a deal. He gets the college and she gets the pros. So whatever he chooses to do is fine, but he calls his wife afterwards, and our son's the one with his hand on Bob Stoops' belly. Yeah, so you just so you know, making sure he's not leaving, I think, is what he was doing. But he calls and he says to her, "Honey, I want to geek out for a few minutes. Okay, I got to call you and geek out." And she's like, "Okay, honey, what is it?" He goes, "Bob Stoops got in our photo." And she's like, "Well, who's that?" And
Holy crap!
it was like,
Listen, I want a divorce.
Real upset
but
that I
it
did not follow you
it
guys
was
back.
hilarious. It was just hilarious how it went.
And
So-
then, oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Full disclosure, since obviously the highlight of that photo was the two Aggies.
Oh yeah,
See what I'm saying? Okay, so
yeah. I'll explain the
right.
Aggies because everybody on Twitter and Facebook
friends
are.
in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Two of our really good friends are Aggies. They're not the delusional Aggies.
Yeah, I
They're
talked
by
to
any-
them. They're not.
any means of the imagination. They came in for a funeral for their grandmother, and they wanted something to do. And was like, well, my brother-in-law is a season ticket holder at UCLA, and they're giving away free tickets. So he's going to give you his tickets. And we're like, so you can go with us. Well, they show up to go to the game, and they're in Aggie gear. And first of all, it drives my wife nuts. She's like you with the Browns jerseys.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
you
stands.
don't-
She's like that. And
Ugh.
we gave them the disclosure. We're like, look, all right, understand this is on you. You decide to wear that to an Oklahoma game.
You're liable to get.
That's on you. But you do what you want to do. So, so they're friends of the family. They came in and they enjoyed it. They were actually excited about the photo too. But boy, they sure got it on Twitter later.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're still getting it on.
Yeah, they're still getting it.
And Facebook too. There's people, why are there Aggies in that? Somebody asked if why there were cash machines there, and it took me. I was like, oh,
Okay, but-
ATMs.
But here's the cool thing about what happened.
Okay.
Because you tweeted it, right?
Yeah.
And Coach Bob commented on it.
Yeah. Retweeted it.
Oh, he retweeted it and commented.
Yeah, and commented.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I sent out. I said, look who photobombed us. Thanks, Coach, and he retweeted with the Boomer Sooner, and then we were on the spin this morning, and that Bob Stoops.
So what kind of famous out here in LA?
Yeah, I mean it's like
Famous-er, Rob.
Famous-er.
You're famous-er.
Famous sir.
yeah, we're famous. I'm surprised you could even walk down Hollywood Boulevard today.
Without giving out autographs?
Yeah.
Well, I was wearing a disguise today. She might have been. That's okay, girl. Give me a call.
Slide into that DM.
I went out the other side, or I would have been with you guys, but I was on the other side harassing an officer.
Again?
Well, that's just the way I roll. He was in a golf cart, and we had to walk, I don't know, like 2 miles to get out of that place. I'm probably exaggerating a little
Yeah,
bit.
probably.
Maybe a little bit. And I asked him if he would give us a ride, and he said, I told him I would buy him a Coke if he, and he said, man, I wish you could. He said, I wish I could. He said, but I just can't. I said, how about I buy you a Coke and a donut? And he said, girl, get in here.
Wait a minute.
Did he take you to the donut shop to get a donut?
No, he said he couldn't. So
No.
we walked, I don't know, 4 miles to get.
No, okay, it was a golf course, okay?
No, I think, no, we literally left there and walked out, like down the street out.
Well,
Like 5 miles. Like 5 miles, I'm sure it was.
well, David, we were waiting. We were sitting there because we were going to Uber back here to Newport, and David checked the Uber. It was $280 at that point, right after the game, and we're like, yeah. So we went into downtown Pasadena, but we had 4 Uber drivers turn us down. Six. Yeah. We were sitting there waiting. They're 5 minutes away, and 1 minute away. They would go, well, they canceled it, so I'd do it again. They'd be 5 minutes away, 1 minute in, they canceled it. So we stood there for about 30, 40 minutes waiting on a Uber to get down into downtown Pasadena, which is a pretty cool place. I mean, it's
Pretty nice,
That's
yeah.
where we went and ate last night.
Where did you go and eat?
The Derby.
The-
the Derby?
Oh, the place where all the movie stars used to eat?
Not the Brown Derby.
Oh, what?
The horse racing Derby. Okay.
Is that a famous place?
Well, yeah, because there's stars that went out there to the Derby. And like our waiter, he had been there for like 36 years.
Oh.
It was really cool.
Where's the Derby at?
In Arcadia. It's supposed to be famous. I don't know nothing about it. I'm just telling you because it's supposed to be famous, and that's where we ate. But we didn't see anybody that was famous except for the 36 guy. I mean, the guy that worked there for 36 years.
Yeah.
So I guess he's famous. But he told us stories about who used to go in there, like Florence Henderson. She was like the best one, he said.
Do you know who that is?
Yes.
Well, yeah, you're old enough to know who that is.
He was telling names like, oh, that was the grumpiest one. I'm like, who's he talking about? I have no idea, and I didn't want to be like dumb and say,
Yeah.
well, who was that?
Well, we went in. We just walked around, and actually, it was a Roku, whatever, however you pronounce it, Italian restaurant. And it looked small on the outside, so we were gonna. I needed some bread, okay, because my stomach was eating itself from all the alcohol that I'd had, and not good. The food was great, but I'm eating all this barbecue sauce and everything. So I was like, I just need some bread to settle my stomach down. So here's this little Italian joint. It wasn't little, it was massive, and they served everything family style. So the guy said, if you get, if you get 3 orders of spaghetti, it's going to serve 12 people. Okay, so we ate there, and I'm telling you, it was it not amazing, Teresa?
Absolutely amazing, and we got bread when we ordered, because we ordered it was called a meal for 4. Oh my gosh, they bring out tubs of bread and tubs of Caesar.
Yeah, they brought out like 2 loaves of bread, garlic bread.
So we still have some sitting on our
But the only thing weird about it is I go to the bathroom. The bathroom is in the very back, and they have some really funny, tongue-in-cheek pictures, like of a nun sitting there, watching, Wheel of Fortune, monks playing volleyball, just odd pictures like that. And there's this round dining area with a big round table, all these chairs, and the Pope's head in the middle of the table under glass. And I just stopped and went, that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
I don't know if I can eat there.
Yeah, I couldn't eat at that table. I started to take a picture of it, and I was like, I don't even want to take a picture of this. Yeah, but it was,
back to the table.
yeah, it was, yeah, I came back and I was like, well, you aren't going to believe what the Pope's head is on under glass on that table in there. So, it was, but I mean, the food was good, and they had pictures. Apparently, famous people come in there and eat. They had a bunch of famous people's pictures eating meatballs, and so we were there about an hour and a half, and then we Ubered back here. What time did we get home? About 11:30, 12:30? Yeah. And poof, I was out.
Oh, yeah,
I
me
was
too.
done.
I mean, I don't even barely remember laying down, and I was gone.
I actually carried Robert to his room.
Oh, wow.
Took me and gave me a kiss. So.
Tried to read a bedtime story, but
Yeah.
he was out.
You sang a soft kitty to him.
If he did, I promise you I didn't get the first
Soft
sentence.
kitty.
Yeah, I was
Soft kitty, warm kitty.
I was out quickly. But we did a lot of walking yesterday. So.
Yeah, it was. And but again, I mean, it was a great day. It was a great game. To top off a great day was Bob stepping in there. It just made to me and Teresa and David, we were talking about it on the way home. It just topped off one of the funnest days we've had, on a trip, football game days. It was just, almost I want to say it was a perfect day.
Yeah, right. Knowing how many Oklahoma fans were there, I mean,
Yeah.
something like that can be dangerous for something like Bob because
Yeah.
they see him do it. Everybody wants a photo.
Well, somebody
You know.
said
Yeah.
that they saw him in the stands, and they asked if they
Yeah, there was.
He was like, no, I can't do that. And I mean, not being rude or nothing. He was just saying, no, because knowing of all the fans and stuff around, he
wouldn't
just
ever
couldn't
stop.
do that.
Yeah.
And he went on about that. So just the fact that he jumped in there like that.
It took
do
10
that.
seconds of his life.
Yeah.
But like I said, he was in and he was gone.
Yeah, but it's
He-
something that will last with us.
He threw his
forever.
horns down. We took the picture and papers blew away, and I didn't see Bob
Rob,
past that.
I don't know for you, and I mean you too, Scotty. Because we were there with our oldest son. I wish our other kids could have been there too, especially Caleb, since he would have gotten a kick out of that. But it was phenomenal getting to share that whole day with our son. And so I can't imagine what that was like for you. I know Rhett wasn't here, which that would have made it all that much better.
Yeah.
So kind of the same with you.
And if Julie would have been there, that would have been.
Oh, that's true. I know Julie was there, and she would have just topped it all off. But I mean, to me, that was. I mean, this week has been phenomenal because we got to spend it with our son and our daughter-in-law and our granddaughter, which was just over the top. That just put the icing on the cake for me.
Yeah. It was pretty great. I'm not gonna lie. When Bob did that, at first I was like, "Hey, who's this guy?" You know, because I just do that. I kind of keep an eye on what's happening. And this guy is walking over to us, and he's quick too. And I'm like, "Hey, wait, what's happening here?" And then all of a sudden, I heard his voice, and I'm like, "That is Bob Stoops." And then we were taking that picture, and everybody was caught. If you've seen the picture, everybody was caught on surprise. So. My oldest son Casey's face, he doesn't get excited that much.
Yeah.
He doesn't. His facial expression is he's kind of monotone, but he was excited, and he said, "I'm not even sorry about that," because that kind of highlighted the whole deal, just like you guys said. It was great.
Now,
My daughter climbed over people's backs to make sure she got her face in there. She was, and a 12-year-old with a cell phone, everybody knew about it in town before we got back.
Yeah. Well, and
my son,
she was the reason really why we had to retake the picture because she wouldn't get
in the front.
Yeah, yeah.
It takes Bob Stoops to get her to pay attention. She saw Bob Stoops and she throws her head up there. And the same thing with Rob. It was really my daughter's first football game.
Yeah.
My son's first tailgate experience. We were over on the other side, and I walked that 3 times between Tailgate Connect and my brother-in-law's tailgate. That's a lot of walking.
Yeah.
But it was his first tailgate, and yeah, it was special. Had the family there. It was even more special that my brother-in-law is a Bruin, and we beat him. But yeah, it was a fun day, and then Bob put the cherry on the top of the whole thing.
Now, something happened also yesterday that doesn't happen very often. I probably was going to need your assistance.
We got a ticket.
No, I almost got in a fight. Yeah, there was somebody got killed. I saw that today. Somebody got murdered at the Rose Bowl last night after the game. Yeah. Yeah. Where were you at, Lori?
She's got an alibi. She's with a cop. Give him a donut.
Well,
What she said.
what happened was we were in line to go in the stadium, okay, and this asshole, I know I don't like to cuss on there, it's PJ-13, but just comes pushing through everybody, pushes over Teresa, coming through. I'm handicapped. Well, as y'all know, Teresa's handicapped. She has health issues and stuff. And Teresa, he kind of turns around and makes a smirk at her. She goes, "I'm really handicapped." He kind of makes a smirk at her. And she calls him an asshole. And I don't know why. I just stepped up in front of him and just got right in his face. His buddy is like, "I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. And he goes, "I'm handicapped. I'm wearing the boot." And I was like, I'm not going to share the rest of the words I said to him. My son, David, was a reverse of things because he was actually pulling me. I've had to pull David away from fights before, but my son was like, "Dad, it's okay, man. It's okay." And I was like, "No, it's not okay." But his buddy, the guy that was with him, his buddy was turned around. He got between, when it all was done, he got between. He was like, "I really apologize for my friend. There's no reason for it. I understand." I was like, okay. But I was almost going to have to call you, Scott, and say, "Hey, get me out of jail
Your
quick."
ID or bail money.
But that's the first time I think that has happened, that a football game. It's the first time it's happened in a long time. But you know what I mean? Somebody walking through the line. I mean, getting into you were going through that gate, crisscrossing about. Everybody was standing in line. Everybody was hot, and this guy was just pushing his way through everybody. Just to get to his group. No, get in the back.
It wouldn't have been an event in the City of Angels without somebody getting shot and killed.
Yeah. Yeah. So I saw that today on the news that there was a murder after the game. 3 hours after the game. Yeah.
Well, we all about died sitting in the sun waiting on the sun to go behind the stands there. When it did, it was like a heaven. I'm not gonna lie.
It's crazy when it finally did. It was like, oh, thank God, because it
It was like a 50-degree difference between the sunlight and the shade.
Yeah, and Teresa, she went down and sat underneath, because her with her lupus that kicked up and everything. She was just, I've got to go sit somewhere else. And me and Rob, we were fixing to go join her because Rob was like, man, if this sun don't hurry up and come down, we're gonna. I'm leaving. I'm like, I am too.
It was miserable there for a minute. It was. Luckily, the dude kept coming by with water.
Yeah.
$7 a pop, by the way. I should have strangled him. But
We drank $83 in water.
Yeah.
that's the highest water bill I ever had in my life.
And then, finally it went down and it was perfect. It was like it was like walking into the house with air conditioner as soon as the sun went down. I was like, oh, thank God, it's gone.
And
then the guy kept stopping for water. We're like, no, man, we're good now. Get out of here.
Go. I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, but where we were sitting at in the stadium seemed like they were on the other side of the field all the time. I'm like, God, come down here. We can't see nothing.
Yeah, and when they would get to our side of the field, the quarter would end, and they'd go to the other side of the field. It's like, come on, can we not get a break? Yeah, you're right, Rob. Most of the game was played on the north side of the field.
But, most of the UCLA fans that we came across were good fans. I didn't hear anybody really talking trash, and I didn't hear a lot of Sooners talking trash to them, which is good. I don't really care.
Well, when you're 0-3, can you really talk trash?
Not really.
I hope you guys win the national championship. As some of the
Yeah.
guys tell us that as they leave.
But no, but I mean, again, back on the game. I mean, dominant performance. I mean, we saw it, all of our thoughts on it, but the national media and everybody else is saying it was dominant. Oklahoma, the Lincoln Riley offensive machine continues to roll. I saw this today though. They brought it up, even though Hurts is leading for Heisman. Somebody brought up the fact that now we need to look at is this system, is Oklahoma's quarterbacks a system or the quarterbacks being good, which I think is bullcrap. Okay, I don't care what they started talking about the Texas Tech offenses. Those guys threw for thousands and thousands of yards,
Those
but
quarterbacks have no shot at the Heisman.
yeah, but they're not those type of quarterbacks. They're not a Jalen Hurts. They're not a Kyler Murray. Those weren't athletes who could do everything. But now that is the talk that's going out there now is, maybe it's the system, not the athlete. And I'm like, no.
I don't buy that. I think you guys have talked about it before. When you've got an offense where there's 8 different plays to run one set.
Yeah.
When you line up, that any quarterback that can process all that information in that short amount of time and figure out what he's going to do with the ball.
Right.
You're not. It's not just the system. It's the quarterback. You
Yeah.
have to have a quarterback that can run the system.
Well, I mean, and 2 of them are in the NFL first round picks. Jalen Hurts, I don't know. He may end up being by the end of this the first round pick again next year, but he's going to be a first rounder for sure.
Oh, there's no doubt.
And that's my deal on it is you can't say system when the NFL takes those 2 quarterbacks as the first round pick. They're not throwing money away.
Well, and not just those 2 guys, Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
I mean, they're obviously turned out to be pretty good quarterbacks.
Yeah. And so that's we had talked about it before that, when is that going to start being the discussion? But I think when you got former, Reggie Bush, as much as, we don't like USC and everything else, but he flat out said Jalen Hurts is winning the Heisman. So you've got a Heisman Trophy winner, but they took his away, didn't they? But still, you've got a guy that's like, hey, this,
So they took his trophy. Did they take his vote as well?
I think so. Yeah, they there was no Heisman Trophy winner that year.
Right.
So, which they should have gave it to the second place guy, shouldn't they?
You know what, the
It could have
critics-
should have been like Lori and her Queen of the Tailgate.
Was the second place guy that year Sooner?
Well, it may have been. I think it was.
5. It would have been. When in 05?
Was it Peterson in
They have to
05?
Google that on up.
Yeah. Well, we don't have all night, Rob.
Well, and let the critics say whatever they want. As long as we win a natty,
Yeah.
I don't care. I give a damn what you say. So give us a natty, and you can say whatever you want. And then next year, when either Spencer or Tanner Mordecai is spinning the rock at you, and we're still running 60 on you every game, come back and say it to me again.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday, I think you're right. I think that being at the game, you see, and especially in the end zone where we were,
Right.
you see the entire field and you see all the things you think they could have done.
Right.
Being fans and not coaches,
Right.
obviously. But if we were sitting and watching on TV, we'd probably have a lot less to complain about because we wouldn't have seen
See,
all the things.
but
that we
again, the thing is though, Rob, like we were talking about, there were times, and whether you think he threw it to the wrong guy or not, there was times there was like 3 guys open.
Oh.
I mean,
saw.
so it was like,
there's no doubt.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, did you find it?
Okay, so I'm glad that nobody was awarded the Heisman Trophy in '05 because it went like this: Reggie Bush, Vince Young, Matt Leinart, Brady Quinn.
Oh, so
So, yeah. Yeah, I would not have wanted Vince Young to win it.
no,
So.
no. But I mean, there, and I don't remember. I think it was one of Rambo's sketches. Rob, you and I talked about it, and we watched it back on the screen. It was one of those plays where Lincoln shifted that defense right to where he wanted it, and Rambo pops out from everywhere else all by himself. That, I'm telling you, Lincoln Riley is amazing at calling plays or just putting plays together.
No, I agree, but let's finish up this right here because I got to tell you, when you pull up the 2005 Heisman Trophy voting,
Yeah.
there are names obviously on here from 1 through 10. The number 1 name, which is Reggie Bush, has a line through it.
Yeah, but I mean, again, as much as Reggie Bush was a great running back, NFL and run. We don't like USC, but just the fact that and he's in the media now, and former Heisman candidate winner, just blatantly puts out there he's going to win the Heisman. He does this every week. He's going to win the Heisman. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Whether he can do that, every week is unknown, but he's doing what we thought could never be done, outdoing the 2 greatest quarterbacks that Oklahoma's ever had, and he is on pace to break the records that they broke.
If he continues to play the way he's playing with the stats he's putting up with now, the only thing that's going to stop him is people with a back-to-back bias.
Yeah.
They don't want 3 quarterbacks from the same school to win the Heisman 3
Yeah.
different times. That would be, to me, the only thing that would stop him. The stats he's got now they're unmatched.
Yeah,
And
but if
he
he keeps doing that, regardless of whether you don't want the back, you can't sit here and go, well, Tua Tagovailoa and all these other guys are they deserve it. Their stats aren't as good, but blah blah blah. No, you can't do that. You got to go by, and you're not just the stats. Just watch the guy play.
Yeah, it'd be really hard at the end of the year if we're undefeated, playing for the the crown or whatever, and Jalen has better stats than everybody. It'd be really hard for them to go, well,
Yeah,
better
rushing, better passing.
Yeah.
And still has more touchdowns than incompletions. That's the stat right now that is dumbfounding me.
Well, here's the thing, though. The Alabama fans feel like last year when Kyler won it, Tua had better stats, but that's just not the case.
No, it's not the case. So, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting that we're having the same conversation again. And again, I'm kind of like what Scotty said. I could care less right now about the Heisman. Yeah, I want an Oklahoma player to win it, but I'm at the point like I was last year and the year before. Natty's not Heisman's. I want a Heisman. I want a national championship. Heisman's are great, but national titles.
You feel like if we play like we did last night, that we can win a national title?
Oh no,
Okay.
but I mean, I just think, we talked about it too. I mean, sometimes even the best teams play down. I don't know if sometimes you just play at that level. You're playing a young, inexperienced team. I don't think you're just not going to look good. It happens in boxing. It happens in UFC. More individual sports, it stands out more. When you're really fighting a lesser opponent, they can make you look bad. Even though you dominated the fight, they just make you look bad.
We still won 48-14.
Yeah, I mean, and we're complaining about it,
Right.
that we look sloppy.
Yeah, you're right. We probably should have been 70.
They would be in the spoiled fan. I'm good with it. 'Cause
Yeah.
if you're a spoiled fan, you're a winning fan.
Yeah,
So,
that's right. I mean, there's no, I'm not ashamed of complaining, going, you know what? yeah, the offensive line looked a little sloppy. The defense still missed some tackles. Personally, I don't think we should let them score 14, but that was their season average. So okay.
You get a good feel, I think, in Texas Tech. I think by the time Texas Tech, we get through the bye and we get to Tech, they'll have who they want starting, both on offense and defense, and who's going to get the majority of the snaps. I think you'll really get a gauge on how we're going to perform on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
If we get to Tech, I mean, I don't think we'd take our foot off the gas if we get to Tech.
Oh no, I don't think he takes his foot off the gas again this year, regardless.
Yesterday, other than that little short kid in the slot, the little slant patterns that got us for 10 or 15 yards every time. Other than that, they have one long run, and their quarterback is legit, at least with his legs. Yeah, he's good. He's good. If he had more players around him, they'd be a lot better.
And the other thing is, Houston, we figured out it ain't really a slouch either. They gave,
they played well.
They played well against Wazoo. So, hey, we put a kicking on them, and Wazoo didn't. So
you're still not drinking the Kool-Aid?
No, sir.
Okay.
No.
I am drinking the Kool-Aid. Absolutely. It looks better. We're going to play with it. They're just going to keep getting better and better. They're going to be in the top 30.
They're 56.
They're going to be in the top 30 by the end of the year.
And I refer to it as I've got the pack. We do as kids making the Kool-Aid. You got the pack and you're flipping it back and forth. Getting all the powder down to the bottom so you got a good mixture.
Yeah. Mine's out of the cabinet, but it's still I'm not flicking the packet yet. So.
I told you, if we go into Texas and we dominate Texas.
Oh yeah, there will be videos.
I want them limping off the field.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by dominating. I'm sending Terry a box.
Oh, there will be videos of me downing jugs of Kool-Aid.
Well, here's the thing: Texas is no joke.
No. But yeah. You're right, Rob. Texas is not a joke. They're
a pretty solid football team. If we go in and we beat them up, then I'll bathe in the Kool-Aid. That's a good mental image for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not going to sleep tonight now.
Dreamweaver playing in the back.
I can't help it. That's just the way it goes around here.
But. No, but all in all, I mean, this has been a great weekend. We came out here, Teresa and I did on Wednesday. We got to spend time with Dave and his family, but also, Scotty hanging out with you guys and Rob and Lori and all the other fans we ran into. Did the tourist stuff on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and you guys did it a little bit today. Me and Teresa slept in here all day long. We just went. Yeah, that's it. I'm not going anywhere.
I took a picture of the Hollywood sign.
Did you?
Yep, that was as close as I needed to get.
How far away were you?
A long ways.
Oh, you didn't drive up the road to get to it?
Oh, no.
You got to be careful because the people that live up there, they get angry about it.
Oh, yeah.
They've been known to break into fights with people. Just stop in the middle of the road to take photos.
My brother and his friend, we had to go to Playboy Mansion. And no, I'm just telling you.
Did you get that text?
Hey, come here.
I didn't get that text.
You can't talk from across the room.
Okay, so we did a lot of things in one day that we should have done. It should have took like 3 days to do, but it was really quick. And one of them, I had to take my brother and his best friend to Playboy Mansion. Well, yeah, I had to take the picture. And they jump out of the car and they run up to the gate, and the security guard is like talking through the rock because that's where the speaker is, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And they're like, "We're taking a picture," and he goes, "Okay," but it was like so fast, and so anyway, I thought we were gonna get in big trouble for that, but they had to have that.
You didn't. She goes to the Playboy Mansion. Rob. Did you make it by the Playboy Mansion?
I did not.
Why not?
Been there 100 times? No, I haven't.
So there was lots of things that happened to me that was really kind of comical.
At the Playboy Mansion?
No, that was a real quick one. I'm like a real quick turnaround. But I'll do this. Okay, so it was Thursday night, and me and my brother, we went to eat at a Chinese place, waiting on his best friend to land. And so we're even having conversation that Friday the 13th was the next day, and I was like, I think that's cool. I like the number 13. I always like Friday. I'm not never scared. Whatever. Anyway, we're having this conversation. So we get the fortune cookies, and I have proof. I have the fortune cookie, and it said, tomorrow you're going to get lucky, and it will be memorable.
So that's why Rob was grinning at the tailgate so much.
So we laughed about that all night long, right? And so the next day at breakfast, oh my gosh. So there's a guy that walks in. We're having breakfast. He's wearing a lucky shirt. Okay.
Uh-oh.
And I am trying to. It was a sign. That's what I was trying to get across. That it was a sign, not for him. It was just, and not lucky like you're thinking lucky. I mean like anything lucky. Like you could have a good day or whatever. Lucky. You know what I mean? No. But anyway, that's not what happened. But anyway, he walks in with the lucky shirt on, and I went, your lucky shirt. This is a sign. So I was just having a conversation with my brother last night about like Friday, like 13th was lucky. And I get this fortune cookie and it says, I'm going to get lucky. And I said, and it's going to be memorable. And his wife happened to walk up. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding you. So she grabbed him by the shirt, or not like mean, but she just kind of grabbed him and said, well, we need to go, and he can't get lucky, or something to that effect. And I told my brother, I said, I didn't mean it like that. I meant it like that was a sign for the day. And he said, well, that's not. He goes, you might have meant it that way, but that's not.
So
what
if somebody
you
walks
said.
up to you and said exactly what you said to him,
Well, I was
would you
excited about
how would you have taken it?
This is me, though. You know me. I get. It's like so I could be having a conversation and something happened, and you know me. It's like squirrel. Like I get excited about things. And so that's I know. But so my brother we're staying in the embassy suite, so it's like 2 rooms, right? And so he texts me the next morning and says, I wonder if the guy with the lucky shirt is going to be down there for breakfast. And I said,
Nope.
I bet you he doesn't get to eat today.
By the way, I have an alibi for Friday the 13th, the nighttime, so. Wasn't me. So you came to California, propositioned a married man, and upset his wife. Is that what I'm hearing?
I didn't mean to.
You could have done that in Tulsa.
So this is another thing.
Or-
Oh, God.
or-
Okay,
or-
I normally, you guys know me. I normally don't tell stories like this, but this one was pretty funny, too. So
Lord.
it's not what I meant, but that's what I said. And I didn't mean it when I said it, okay? I didn't even think about it. So we're at the Hard Rock, okay? We're at the Hard Rock, and they have these drinks, okay? And one of them, I can't even tell it. One of them is called a Big Kahuna, okay? So we're having the conversation because the Big Kahuna has coconut and rum in it. I like coconut rum. And the other one, I don't know what they had. Hurricanes. They had hurricanes. So I was asking him if because I don't know what they are, right? So I asked him if I could have a sample of his Big Kahuna. And my brother looked at me and I went, that's not what I meant. And he goes, well, that's what you said. So anyway, they don't give samples. I'll just tell you that.
Has anybody asked to sample your Big Kahuna, Rob?
So I've decided I'm just going to shut my mouth and never say another word as long as I live, because everything I'm telling you, my foot goes in every single time. And I really tried, but anyway. But I can tell you, the Big Kahuna at the Hard Rock, it's very tasty because I did find out, and it was very good. But anyway.
So that's been the Lori's Adventure in California podcast.
No, that wasn't all.
Oh,
so,
no. Get the microphone away from her for crying out loud.
The only thing left is my brother. He always messes with me.
No, hold on. A while ago, she was sitting over here going, "What do I say?" And now she won't shut up. Typical.
Okay. So, just one more thing. So we go to the Asian restaurant, right? And listen, I just want to say before I say this. Well, because it was Chinese. It was a Chinese restaurant. So we go in. Well, first off, we have no idea where we're at. So I mean, we could have been in a bad part of town. And my brother gets out of the car and he said, "Hey, I think that there's a puddle of blood here." And I'm like, he goes, "You hurry up and get out so we can go in." And he goes, "No, I think that's antifreeze." I mean, he was just joking with me. But anyway, we get in there and all of the people, the Chinese the Chinese restaurant, there were all Mexicans in there. So, no, I mean, I'm just saying. Okay, here's the phone. This was my picture here.
Okay, so like I said, this has been Lori's Weekend in California, Big Kahunas and
Lucky.
and Asian restaurants filled with Mexicans. So, thoughts, Rob?
I'm speechless.
Scotty?
No.
No, we're good. Teresa?
Just that we're not racist. We're all.
Oh, no, I wasn't meaning it like that.
Sure.
Okay.
Asian people.
Asian people.
Did he say you people?
Do you people?
I mean it like that.
And you didn't mean it like Big Kahuna either.
Well, we're glad you
So she never says what she means, apparently. So anyway, any final thoughts, Rob, on the game? We got a week off, so.
Well, I think we'll be able to cover it better when we see it actually on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, being there is so much fun, and we all enjoyed it, and obviously get to see Scotty and stuff, and his family. But I can't wait to watch it on the TV so that I can really kind of see how I really feel about it.
Yeah.
Because obviously what I seen from the stands is not what the national media seen.
And everybody else in the world.
So I'm excited to see,
Yeah.
the execution. I'm excited to see how the line played, because from where I was sitting, it looked like maybe the line broke down quite a bit.
Yeah.
But we'll have to get with JY on that and see what he thinks. But
No. Scotty?
No, just what we covered. I think Rob's right. I think looking at it from that perspective, there's a lot of distractions, a lot of things going, around you that the screaming and yelling, and you see a lot of different things from that perspective. So same with Rob. I want to look at it, on the TV and see all the things that we didn't see. Right. But again, great weekend. Loved having my friends out. It's fun hanging out, having him and the boys here with us, and hopefully it's not too long where we can do it again.
Oh, yeah.
We'd love to go out to the Army game next year and make that another road trip.
Yeah, and maybe if we get Lori's brother, if we'll do cake stands, maybe he'll pay for us too.
Yeah. So. I'm sure there's a guy in New York City named Big Kahuna.
So, anyway, I think that's about it. But Scotty, I want to thank you for hosting us out here. I know, Teresa and I, you picked us up at the airport. Still hope you're taking us back tomorrow.
My pleasure.
And dinner with you and your wife the other night was great. Thank you for, doing all that for us. And it's been a fun weekend. It's sad it's coming to an end. We all got to get back on planes. I know Rob's looking forward to his flight tomorrow as much as I'm looking forward to mine. But anyway, that's the podcast for today, guys. Boomer Rob.
Boomer Terry.
Boomer Scotty.
Boomer Terry. Boomer Rob.
Boomer Teresa.
Boomer Terry.
Big Kahuna.
Big Kahuna. Boomer.
Boomer Terry.
Later, guys.
Sooner Football Fans podcast is hosted by Rob Nixon, Terry Long, and occasionally Caleb Long. It is produced at the beautiful Podcast Palace in Norman, Oklahoma. Follow us on Twitter at SoonerFBFans and like our Facebook page at Facebook.com/Sooner Football Fans, and visit our website at www.SoonerFootballFans.com to read our blogs and keep up with our tailgating activities. Boomer Sooner, everyone.